Please forgive me, I'm not feeling so well, and so therefore I'm not actually going to be showing my face in this video. I had the COVID vaccination yesterday, and I've had some after effects thereafter. In any case, I'm going to start off today with a small portion of my book. As you know, I'm writing a book, and I thought I'd share a bit of what I had written. This is quite scary, and the words I'm going to read out to you now are incoherent. They're not so straightforward. It was at a point in time in my life when I was in a pretty scary, derelict state. And you'll be able to hear that the way I've written the words and the way I express the words as well. I'll start off with this part. As I drew near the time, I made the bold decision to escape and preserve my life. I want to share with you, the reader, a post I had sent to a friend at the time, right before I was given the ability to leave. I will share with you the words I wrote verbatim. This is a message I wrote to a friend right before I left my children. I wrote to her on her Facebook page. It's pretty scary. And it's not going to be pleasant. Trigger warning if this might trigger you. So please be aware that it is triggering. It goes like this. I am part of the LGBT spectrum, and I am at wit's end. For far too long, I've been denied my existence, my identity, my opinions. They were always denied to me by any ultra-Orthodox family member or ultra-Orthodox rabbi I turned to. I'm done. I'm going to join a host of others from the ultra-Orthodox community that eventually committed suicide because surviving in this community has become unbearable. A person from the LGBT spectrum cannot survive in the ultra-Orthodox Jewish community, especially after they believed the false assumptions and assurances that assured them that post-marriage and after having children, all pain will be eased. I believed those promises, and unfortunately, it was all a lie. One thing I ask, though, after I end my life, please don't allow the ultra-Orthodox Jewish world to cover up the truths. They are experts at lying and covering up truths. Many suicide victims before me were said to have died in their sleep, died after feeling unwell for short periods of time. The lies here are ridiculous, but the sheep don't question anything as long as their leaders back it. That's end of quote. I had written down here verbatim. This friend had sent it to me a couple of days ago. And I follow on writing the book. I know that I was struggling, and I know that my message on a friend's Facebook page was pertinent. I know that I was desperate. I also know that my message was not coherent. You kind of had to delineate from what I wrote that I was feeling trapped. Why was I feeling trapped? Well, I was under the impression that being courageous and bold, audacious and determined was not the way forward. I needed other people to join me and to understand me, to revere me and to respect me. As if Joseph in Egypt had things easy and simple. As if King David and Abraham, who all faced rejection and abandonment, had things simple. As if it was all a smiling task. I was simply unaware that for me the very rejection and hate was my kernel for who I was meant to be. Yes, in other words, it was part of allowing me to solidify who I was and become independent minded and not determined nor swayed nor manipulated by others. Yes, it's easy and nice when people are loved and supported, respected, and listened to. Success doesn't come on paths well paved. Inner peace is not attainable for one who gets likes, approvals, loves, care, admiration, validation, and recognition. And fails are just successes. Or rather, fails are just success tools. Thomas Edison, Gerald Ford, Mahatma Gandhi, they all had one thing in common. That all had one thing in common, and so did Mother Teresa. Okay, so where is my success? It's not here yet, is it? Plant seeds in the ground, but don't keep on checking because a seed can't grow if it's not given time and attention. The kind of attention where it's allowed to be. Leave it to germinate. Be at peace and sing your tune whilst it's germinating. The friend who sent me that on Facebook Messenger a few days ago, and I added that bit in that was a few days ago, may have been taken by surprise when I responded to her and I said, "Thank you for sharing that message, but allow me to tell you that I couldn't care less whether I am forgotten or my story is distorted. I live for the power, the godliness inside me, whilst everyone else is welcome to say or not say what they think or don't think of me. I'd rather be forgotten and have people say whatever ephemeral fancies they wish to say until the next exciting news story comes along." Shortly before I left the ultra Orthodox Jewish community, a ultra Orthodox Jewish man committed suicide by inflating his lungs with gases from his car. It definitely wasn't suicide, many declared. That's the end of that bit of the book. It's a very triggering part of the book that I wrote today. And it's not my intention to go down the negative path, nor is it my intention to judge anybody else. But I have to tell my story. My story is valid, my story is real, and nobody should tell us our story needs to be silenced, needs to be ignored, buried, and denied. Today, I got this brand new book. This I could show you while you're looking. I got this brand new book from Napoleon Hill. I hope you could see it. Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude. As you all know, I read many, many books every single day. Spend over 2 hours a day reading books. I'm improving my skill set and I'm becoming more and more knowledgeable. It's not just regular books, it's self-help books, which are really helping me get things to the next level. I'm going to start off and read you 2 pages from this amazing book. Please bear with me. This is a beautiful, beautiful way to start a book. I'm really pleased the way Napoleon Hill started the book this way. Meet the most important living person, chapter 1. Meet the most important living person. Somewhere in this book, you will meet him suddenly, surprisingly, and with a shock of recognition that will change your whole life. When you do meet him, you will discover his secret. You will discover that he carries with him an invisible talisman with the initials PMA emblazoned on one side and NMA on the other. This invisible talisman has 2 amazing powers. It has the power to attract wealth, success, happiness, and health, and it has the power to repel these things, to rob you of all that makes life worth living. It is the first of these powers, PMA, that enables some men to climb to the top and stay there. It is the second that keeps other men at the bottom all their lives. It is NMA that pulls other men down from the top when they have reached it. Now, I just want to point out that PMA stands for positive mental attitude and NMA stands for negative mental attitude, in case you're wondering. Perhaps the story of S.B. Fuller will illustrate how it works. We are poor, not because of God. S.B. Fuller was one of 7 children of a Negro tenant farmer in Louisiana. He started to work at the age of 5. By the time he was 9, he was driving mules. There was nothing unusual in this. The children of most of the tenant farmers went to work early. These families accepted poverty as their lot and asked for no better. Young Fuller was different from his friends in one way. He had a remarkable mother. His mother refused to accept his hand-to-mouth existence. His mother refused to accept this hand-to-mouth existence for her children, though it was all she had ever known. She knew there was something wrong with the fact that her family was barely getting along in a world of joy and plenty. She used to talk to her son about her dreams. "We shouldn't be poor, SB," she used to say, "and don't ever let me hear you say that it's God's will that we are poor. We are poor not because of God. We are poor because Father has never developed a desire to become rich. No one in our family has ever developed a desire to be anything else. No one had developed a desire to be wealthy. This idea became so deeply ingrained in Phil's mind that it changed his whole life. He began to want to be rich. He kept his mind on things he didn't want and off the things he didn't want. On the things he did want and off the things he didn't want. Thus, he developed a burning desire to become rich. The quickest way to make money, he decided, was to sell something. He chose soap. For 12 years, he sold it, door to door. Then he learned that the company which supplied him was going to be sold at auction. The firm price was $150,000. In 12 years of selling and setting aside every penny he had, saved $25,000. It was agreed that he would deposit $25,000 and obtain the balance of $125,000 within a 10-day period. Written into the contract was the condition that if he had not raised the money, he would lose his deposit. During his 12 years as a soap salesman, S.P. Fuller had gained the respect and admiration of many businessmen. He went to them now. He obtained money from personal friends, too, and from loan companies and investment groups. On the eve of the 10th day, he had raised $115,000. He was $10,000 short. Search for the light. Search for the light. He had exhausted every source of credit. Search for the light. I had exhausted every source of credit. I knew, he recalls. It was late at night. In the darkness of my room, I knelt down and prayed. I asked God to lead me to a person who would let me have the $10,000 in time. I said to myself that I would drive down 61st Street until I saw the first light in a business establishment. I asked God to make the light a sign indicating his answer. It was 11 o'clock at night when S.P. Fuller drove down Chicago's 61st Street. At last, after several blocks, he saw a light in a contractor's office. He walked in. There, seated at his desk, tired from working late at night, sat a man whom Fuller knew slightly. Fuller realized that he would have to be bold. "Do you want to make $1,000? asked Fuller, straight out. The contractor was taken aback at the question. "Yes," he said, "of course." "Then make out a check for $10,000, and when I bring back the money, I'll bring back another $1,000 profit." Fuller recalls telling this man, he gave the contractor the names of the other people who had lent him money and explained in detail exactly what the business venture was. Let us explore his secret of success. Before he left that night, S.P. Fuller had a check for $10,000 in his pocket. Today, he owns controlling interest not only in that company, but in 7 others, including 4 cosmetic companies, a hosiery company, a label company, and a newspaper. And when we asked him recently to explore with us the secret of his success, he answered in terms of his mother's statement so many years before. "We are poor, not because of God. We are poor because Father has never developed a desire to become rich. No one in our family has ever developed a desire to be anything else." Powerful passages from this amazing book. And I'm so glad I was able to share with you. And I want to wish you a good evening. I also want to point out that it's very important that when we read a book or we express our gratitudes. By the way, I finished my 80-page gratitude journal for that matter, a couple of days ago, and I'm really, really proud of myself. I just thought I'd mention that. It was just amazing. I just want to point out as well that when you express your gratitude, it's very important that you keep things in mind in order for them to really start working, to really start manifesting. 3 things: visualize, feel, and understand why you want those gratitudes, why you are grateful for those gratitudes, and why it makes you feel the way it does. Those are very important enhancers to your gratitudes and for your beautiful future ahead. Wealth is actually what every single person should want. Nobody should want to be poor. Poverty is not a pleasant thing. Poverty is not what people who believe in God should ever entertain. That's my message today. And poverty can be in many different areas, whether it's wretchedness or it's in indolence or indulgence, whatever kind of poverty people are struggling with. None of it is good. And it's good to be principled, and it's also very good to be well disciplined. I thought I'd also mention the fact that for now, almost 2 weeks, I've been reading, actually listening and reading every single day, the amazing book, As a Man Thinketh. And I would recommend you read it if you want to improve your life. That's my message today. Please forgive me for not having my face on the video today. I hope I compensated, though, with reading the amazing book and reading from my own amazing book. And I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great night. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I look forward to it. I'm really grateful for all the amazing subscribers who have come on board so far. We are a growing community here. I'm ever so grateful. Thanks tons. You're all the kindest. We're all blessed. Together with Jessica Maiden, we are all blessed and we are all fortunate, and our future ahead is beautiful. I look forward to your amazing like and your amazing comments too. Thanks so much, and thanks so much, Mike, for your amazing comments on the last few videos and before. Thanks so much. Have a good night, all of you. I look forward to your comments and your amazing feedback. Have a good night.